Hi friends, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be fixing one of the biggest garden mistakes I ever made, and we're also going to be transplanting some limelight prime hydrangeas. The pad for the shed is going to be laid in about a week and a half, and I need to remove all the plants from the back corner of the garden. But before we do that, let's tackle this really big garden design mistake I made. It was about 5 years ago when I stopped over at a local nursery and I bought 2 goji berry plants on clearance. I think they were originally $30, maybe even $40, and the lady was selling them on clearance for $5. So I couldn't pass that deal up. Can you relate? And I bought both of them. And boy, was that a huge mistake. Now, I had heard of goji berries before, and I knew that they were a superfood, so I thought a vining plant that could serve as privacy for my family sounded like a good thing. Superfoods sounded like a really good thing. I need something to offset all this Ben & Jerry's that I'm eating. So naturally, I reasoned out my purchase, planted them, and realized what an absolute mess they became in no time at all. So the main problem with these is that they just take over a space. I think probably what they need is some kind of a trellising system similar to what you would use with raspberry, because as you can see, when the branches hit the ground, they root like crazy. And as we get further and further into today, you'll see that I start digging up what felt like hundreds of baby goji berry plants. So what started out as 2 goji berry plants quickly became a huge patch of goji berries. Another problem is that the vines are really heavy and they get woody very quickly. Naturally, none of this is located on the plant tag when you purchase them. And so what happened is any kind of trellising system I tried to use for these was just not strong enough for the weight of these really woody branches. And then another problem is that they got powdery mildew fairly early in our growing season. I would say by late July, they are covered in powdery mildew, and they start to infect some of the other plants in this area that are susceptible to powdery mildew, such as the lilac, which is located just to the left of the screen. So I'll be really interested to see if that lilac continues to get powdery mildew since I've removed all these goji berries. And lastly, the berries themselves, well, they aren't that great, honestly, and they're really time consuming to pick. But as you can see, the main problem is they're just kind of a mess back here. And when I made that video about the 10 garden design mistakes that I made, so many of you commented that you had goji berries and that you regret that purchase also. And it kind of made me wonder, what is the plant that you wish you never planted? I think that would be a really interesting comment section to read and hopefully save a lot of us from making some problematic purchases. And as always, take zone and climate into careful consideration. Now I'm here in a very wet and humid, now zone 7A garden, previously zone 6B. And powdery mildew here is a really big problem. And here I am removing some invasive honeysuckle that just popped up this growing season. So I don't really have any plans for this area next year, but I'm really excited just to get it cleaned up so I can look at it with nothing in this area. And really, I think the problem is that I never remove these because in the very early spring, when they first leaf out, enough time has passed that I forget what a big problem they become in late summer. And also that fresh green growth kind of makes me forget about the powdery mildew. But once and for all, we're removing these goji berries. And my hope is to continue to really fix all those garden design mistakes that I was telling you about the other day. And I'd like to get as many fixed as possible before, I would say, the middle of March, so that we can really start out next year on the right foot. Thankfully, these goji berries weren't too difficult to dig up. Look, I even have some bricks back here trying to support my bamboo fence. This bamboo fence is just a temporary solution. Hopefully one day we'll get a wood fence back here, but for now the bamboo is fine. But can you see how many suckers have just popped up all throughout this garden? Some has even decided to grow up the forsythia next to me, through the evergreens. The goji berry has gone wild, friends. Maybe that's what we should call this video. Goji berries gone wild. Now that's a video we can all watch. Now I'm just fixing the fence a bit, raking it up, and what you'll see next is about 3 days later where I'm going to be transplanting some limelight prime hydrangeas. I'm going to put them over in this area in the garden. I don't think it's their permanent location, but I just need to clear the back of the property for the guys who are going to be working there. Look, there's even another runner all the way over here by my grandma's chair. And what a mess, friends. I am so glad to be rid of this goji berry nightmare. Grace agrees. So here we are a few days later. These limelight prime hydrangeas, I believe, are about 3 years old, and I'm basically going to stick them in the holes that were created from the goji berries just as a place to hold them throughout the winter season. And I think it will be nice to have a little bit of structure back there since I really cleaned out the area and there's not much to look at. I am so excited for this garden shed project, and I feel so at peace with the thought that we're going to be using all reclaimed materials and giving all these materials a second chance at life. It just makes me really excited to think that what once was maybe someone's barn, maybe a shed in their home, maybe even part of a house, might now be located in our garden. So there's a few branches back here that my husband had to take off just to make room for the roof line of the shed. And the great thing is that we do have a wood burning fireplace, so we save all this wood and we use it to heat our home. But friends, I think that's it for today's video. Lots more videos in the coming days. I want to wish you a wonderful day and happy gardening. Bye!